Hello, this is Joshua Chance. I'm doing my book report for Authentic Christianity, Dr. Hayes' 905 class on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And the book I chose was the Screwtape Letters by C.S. Lewis. I don't know if you could see it there with the glare. Try to get a better position. Oh, I'm sorry. But there's my copy. There it is. There's my copy of Screwtape Letters on my iPad. I'll just show you that it is the actual book right here. And basically just the premise of the book is, of course, from the enemy's perspective, the demon's perspective, and it's about this one particular demon named Screwtape, who has been seasoned, experienced demon that has, tempted a lot of people and knows pretty much everything there is to know about taking people away from God and leading them astray. And he's writing to his nephew, who is also a demon, of course, named Wormwood, who is trying to learn the ropes and is just been assigned a new Christian to torment, to tempt, to lead away from God. So he's asking his uncle Screwtape for advice, and Screwtape is sending him these letters as a response. And they're very eye-opening because even though this book took place in the early 20th century, it's still very relatable and just it's very interesting to see how, even though it was a different time back then, it's still interesting to see how the enemy tries to, get their foot in the door with very subtle things, especially. And so I would say that's really the main theme, is that there's an enemy that is trying to take us away from God however they can. Just shift our focus away from God and pervert that focus and just get us away from God. That's their main goal. And to try to make us think more of ourselves and less of God. So really the two things I took away from that was, number one, that the enemy does try to prevent us from focusing on God. And they do this really in any way they can, from distracting us from prayer. Like there's one part where the new Christian has learned how to pray, and he's trying to seek God and spend time in prayer, and Screwtape shows concern about this, and he wants to try to get Wormwood to distract him from prayer, get his mind off that, make him think that prayer doesn't work, and destroy his faith in prayer. And another part, he tries to pervert science and try to make the Christian believe that science disproves God or isn't what it seems, and that it shouldn't be used as a tool of faith, and that you shouldn't believe that God had created everything. So they try to feed doubt into our minds. They try to do these things. So number one is they try to prevent us from focusing on God. Number two is when we do focus on God, they try to pervert that focus, and they try to make us see it in a different way, just like we talked about in class with legalism or libertinism. That we can go one way of the spectrum or the other, that we can take it too far, or maybe we don't do it correctly. They try to make us have all these different perspectives of what Christianity is and who God is, and use that and twist it. And there's one part where they try to twist his viewer's perception of his wife by making him disagree with her political ideas and putting all these subtle hints and thoughts into his mind that twist what he sees in front of him. And so that's really what I got from it, was that number one, the enemy is trying to shift our focus away from God, and number two, when we do focus on God, they try to pervert that perception that we have of God. And so I guess the main thing I would say that I got from this is that we need to focus on God, and because if we're not careful, then we'll start thinking more of ourselves. We'll start listening to these voices in our head. We'll start listening to these distractions that try to get us away from who God is, and try to get us, like at one part, they're trying to, he's trying to connect Christianity and use that as an agenda for the war and for vegetarianism and different things like that. So we have to be careful to be authentic with our Christianity, to truly seek a relationship with God and not very surface level. Otherwise, these things will get into our head and destroy us from within and shift our focus away from God. So that's why I thought about the book. I thought it is a wonderful book, and so that's that. Thank you so much.